Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And we've been talking about the idea of presence, being present for yourself. This stems from our big research project that we just completed, and one of the key results we discovered is that people who suffer from addictions have a very weak sense of who they are as people. Or, as some psychologists would say, they're not present for themselves. They can't just sit with themselves and just be. That they always feel this need to do things or to be active in some way because they're just so uncomfortable with themselves, so disconnected from themselves. So we've been talking about some ideas of how we can help people develop this to be present for themselves, which will allow them to develop some self-awareness. So this time on this show, we'll look at this. We'll look at the martial arts as a method by which you can improve your self-awareness, improve your presence for yourself. And the martial arts are very wonderful, wonderful techniques in order to achieve this idea of self-awareness. And I was looking on the internet, and Valerie Worthington, who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, she actually wrote an article explaining how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helped her to learn to be present in her life outside of the Jiu-Jitsu, just in her normal everyday life. In fact, she said, before she learned this, she would have this experience in Jiu-Jitsu, which was just wonderful, but in the rest of her life, she said, geez, it was almost not worth the effort to go for the Jiu-Jitsu because it was in such stark contrast to what the rest of her life was like. So she made a commitment to herself that she was going to start applying these things she had learned in the martial arts to the rest of her life. And she talks about that. And she talks about she calls it the best present ever that she gave to herself, the idea of being present just in life. In her old life, she said she would be worrying about the past, imagining some mistakes she made, and of course you can't change the past, but she'd spend a lot of energy doing that. Then she'd worry about the future and all these potential problems, and who knows if it even happened, right? But she's putting all this energy in, and she said, I was always in the wrong situation. I always wanted to be somewhere else and not here, or doing something else instead of what I'm doing. And she learned through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu how to get rid of all that clutter out of her mind, which is a lot of times quite useless, and start focusing on just being present in whatever she was doing. And she reports that this has just made a drastic change in her life for the better and created happiness and contentment. And she's gotten rid of all that nonsense that was bringing her down. So Jiu-Jitsu, the martial arts, I think are another good example. In fact, I know many therapists who really encourage their clients to take up the martial arts, whether it's for trauma, for addiction, because it gives you that sense of presence, this sense of being grounded in yourself. Anyway, those are a few techniques you can use to develop presence in yourself. And again, practice, practice, practice. And that's it. And we'll be back next time with a new topic.